it's just a quick one because I'm addressing both you and my community. In the past 1 month, roughly through the month of October, I've gotten more than 4 different cases of people who had become, people who had become vegetable by the time they got to me.
Hold on, doctor. Mama, can hear us.
Mm. So when I probed further, I saw, and I want to raise that as an alarm now, not only to you, but to everybody. I don't understand the reason why our people are being drugged to death, especially with the so-called tuberculosis medication. Some of them have been on it for months. The last patient I got was on that tuberculosis medication for 7 months. And by the time the case came to me, the young woman, I say a young woman because she's only 47, she had become a vegetable. There was nothing that we could do. She couldn't even eat. She couldn't even drink water. So I'm bringing it to everybody's note and attention that we must begin to query whatsoever medication, because like I said, it's 4 different cases now in the past 1 month. So I don't know what tuberculosis that you are treating that damages the body, damages the system, and turns the person to a vegetable. And yet the doctor does nothing. So I'm just making it as a general alarm. I'm bringing it to everybody's notice, so that you understand what we are going through. I've often said that disease is almost always as our problem of detaching from nature. We run our lives without understanding the importance of nature. So that's why we're having this spate of disease. When we begin to understand this and accept it, we'll begin to reverse any and every kind of disease. Let me help us. In the morning, I got a call from a friend who talked about his friend that is in a very, very sorry state because he's having heart failure. When I checked through from the answers that he gave, I understood that it is still the same thing, detaching yourself from nature, not understanding that we can go no far if we don't take nature alongside as we march. So the biggest challenge we have is taking antibiotics, whether it's anti-tuberculosis medication, whether it's pesticides in the air, especially for farmers, whether it is glyphosate that you apply because you want to get rid of weeds, whether it is perfume, whether it is preservatives in the food. And almost every food that is bottled, canned, or boxed, it has preservative. The work of preservative is to regulate the activities of microorganisms. We are living our lives in such a way that we get addicted to these foods, and we don't know that that same food that has preservative will also regulate the gut microbiome when you eat those foods, because the food is not restricted to activities of organisms in the can or in the box or in the bottle from which you are eating off. But when it gets into your body as well, it also begins to disrupt the gut microbiome. I've often tried to clarify that our health depends so strongly on these microbes, the little specksy things that we cannot see. They determine our metabolism, because you don't have an engine or a mailer in your stomach or in your gut that processes the food and helps your body to be able to absorb the food. It is this microbe. So anytime that you are used to antibiotics, whether it's anti-tuberculosis medication, whether it's chemotherapy, whether it's painkillers, all sorts of medications, I want you to understand that most of these medications disrupt your gut microbiome. And just like you have the soil, in the olden days, we do what we call composting. And composting is all about when we clear the grass in the field, we put them in a pit, pour water, put a lot of things there, and allow it for some days to decompose. so that it will produce microbes that we can introduce into the farm to help the plant to be able to access the nutrients in the soil. A lot of us misunderstand this. That is the same thing that happens in our gut. When we don't understand the work of the gut microbiome, when we damage the gut microbiome, you will now begin to foment disease. That's why there is a saying that the immunity starts in the gut and health also starts in the gut. So, what is the gut? The idea is that we are supposed to optimize the activities of the gut microbiome. I am aware that a lot of people have infection and they want to treat infection quickly. But usually, what I instruct is, first of all, can you embrace nature? Can you begin to eat foods, organic and raw, so that you can, in that way, introduce these healthy microbes into your body because they can take care of the infection, they can take care of the vaginitis, they can take care of the yeast infection. Yes, if you have the right flora of gut microbiome, you can take care of all these things. That's why we are now promoting the use of kefir. That's why we now created a product that is called fermented cabbage, where you can use it as your fufu instead of taking gare or semovita. Because we want you to take these things, sauerkraut. We want you to begin to, enrich your gut microbiome because they are the key determinants of your health. When they are not there, when you disrupt the activities, you will find it that you are going to be eating, but your body cannot be able to harness the minerals and nutrients in the food. That's why you have plenty and you are starving to death. I know because maybe you have a lot of weight, so you think you're not starving to death. No, your cells are starving. And that's why you are having the hunger pangs. Because I don't understand why you are thinking that you are fat and you think you are healthy, but you are still having the hunger pangs. You are having the hunger pangs because the body is not accessing the appropriate nutrients that the body needs. So it is in the soil. When we damage the soil microbiome, our crops come to us without the nutrients that they're supposed to harness from the soil. And that's why we continue to eat and we're not getting nourished. We're getting more hungry and hungry because the minerals that our body is supposed to access from the plant and the plant access from the soil are no more there because of our activities as man in damaging these other little living things around us that we don't understand why God put them there. All right. So I have a different protocol for you if you have an infection and you don't want to damage your gut microbiome by taking antibiotics. There are ways to go about it by embracing nature. But that's not what we are here to talk about today. So here I have a comprehensive healing plan. And the case summary is about a long-standing hypertension, diabetes, now heart failure, and recurrent stroke episode. And these have led to facial paralysis and slurred speech or deranged speech. And I can understand that you have had so many multiple medications. And these medications, like I tell you, they have very, very significant side effects. It would have led to emotional instability. It would have led to the suicidal ideation. Like you pointed out that your mom have suicidal tendencies. All right. Now, my objective, as always, is not to rush into medication because, like I have said, your mom have been on medication for years now, and yet the situation continues to get worse. So I'll be stupid if I come and start prescribing medication to you. Our aim now is to detox, to get rid of the residues of all these medications that she has had in the past, because that's what is affecting her. I rightly pointed out to you that the reason why she's having that suicidal tendency is because of the destruction of the gut microbiome. I know it might look a little bit complicated to you, but I'm sorry, I've been in this for over 17 years, so I understand what I'm saying. We all say that the gut is the second brain. Me, I think the gut is the first brain. I see the brain as only a processor, and I see the gut as the programmer of our brain and of how we think. In fact, in the past 1 week, I had a case of a lady that's been seriously having depression, and that depression have led her to, started suspecting everybody, and it's now a clinical case. When I called her, I asked some questions. I understood that when she was having her child, that she took a lot of antibiotics because it was cesarean section. And even she continued the antibiotics because the wound was becoming a little bit difficult to heal. So I saw that the antibiotics may have caused a lot of damage, and that is the reason why she's now depressed. Because we don't understand that our God affects our mind. A lot of people don't understand that all those mad people we are seeing in the street might be a reason of the damaged gut microbiome. And that's why my first line of treatment is to restore the gut microbiome. You find that just in few weeks after restoring the gut microbiome, you will see that that person's mental sanity begins to come back. I'm telling you, it looks shocking, it looks surprising, but it's not complicated because the gut is our second brain. Okay? So, our aim for mommy today, starting today, is to restore her metabolism, to restore her circulation, and to rejuvenate her, to restore her brain function. All this slurry speech is because of the episodes of stroke that she'd had. And the reason why she continued to have it is because she's still on the medication, but she has failed to look at the root cause. She had failed to make corrections where necessary. So, what we're going to do very quickly, because I have only 10 minutes, and I'll allow you to ask some questions. Please take note. Now, what we are going to do in the first phase of your mom's treatment is what I call stabilization and detox. That's what we're going to do for 21 days. And our goal is to reduce the toxin, to get rid of the inflammation, and even the medication burden, because like the more you take medication, the more you burden every organ, especially the liver. And that's why you are noticing she's becoming weaker. All right. So in the morning, if you have pen and paper, please take note. We're going to start with 1 glass of warm water with a pinch of cayenne pepper, a pinch of sea salt, and a bulb of lemon. That will be what she will take in the morning for these 21 days. All right. 1 glass of water, warm water, with a pinch of cayenne pepper, with a pinch of Celtic sea salt, and with half bulb of lemon. Now, the reason is cayenne pepper will improve the blood circulation. And Celtic sea salt, I know that she's hypertensive, and I know you are afraid of how can we be giving her salt again since she's hypertensive. Well, I want to clarify that table salt, the one that you buy and use, is not the same with Celtic sea salt, because table salt has already been treated, and all those minerals that we need in the Celtic sea salt have been removed. You know that we always say that is in the sea or the ocean, we can get a mirror of what our mineral profile will look like. I mean, our blood mineral profile. What you see in the sea is what it's supposed to look like in us as humans. So that's why I made it a law for the past few months that I add a pinch of Celtic sea salt in my water. Then I can also add cayenne pepper to improve heart activities, because your heart needs support, and cayenne pepper will be brought to bear. You know, when we continue in this terrain for the next 21 days, we will now begin to reduce some of the medications as we check her blood pressure, check her blood sugar, and what have you. And I can assure you, the blood pressure, we can strike out 30 points from what the current number is now. So please send me what the current number is. In the next 7 days, you see that we're going to reduce it by 30 points. I mean, both the systolic and the diastolic. And the reason why we're going to do that is because We're going to adjust her diet so she won't take any food that will infiltrate her blood. Was the reason why she's hypertensive is because she continues to take medication without checking the blood viscosity. But we're going to correct the blood viscosity starting today so that we're going to put an end to high blood pressure. Let me explain blood viscosity in a way that you will understand it. If you drive a car, you will notice that you are asked sometimes to check your engine oil. What are you checking in your engine oil? Because it is the engine oil that will facilitate the smooth running of the engine. That is the same thing. So when you check your engine oil, you are checking for the viscosity of the oil. Because if it has a deranged viscosity, you will notice that your car engine will now be producing smoke. That means it's not efficient anymore. And when you are losing such energy from the engine, you are damaging the car over time. So that's why a law was created that you must service your car depending on how you use it at least every 6 months. So also in our body, our heart, the activities of our heart, and we have bloodstream, thousands of meters, taking blood, taking oxygen, taking nutrients to every cell in the body. So we must have to checkmate the viscosity of that blood. And what damages that viscosity? It is insulin. So the more you eat high carbohydrate food, the more you are altering the viscosity of your blood, and you are making it more difficult for your heart with the regular pump to be taking blood to all the cells, all the organs, all the tissues in your body. So that's why the heart will now start to struggle. You will notice that when the heart starts to struggle, the person starts becoming weak. The person is becoming weak because the cells are being starved of oxygen. Oxygen is life. When you remove it from any cell in 2 minutes, that cell dies. So why the person is feeling weak is because there is derangement in the supply of oxygen, and not because there is scarcity of oxygen. You notice in the ICU, there are a lot of people that are placed under the oxygen. Why are they put under the oxygen? It's not because of the scarcity of oxygen, no, but it's because of the capacity of your blood to take up the oxygen. So why is it that your blood can't take up oxygen? Because you are breathing normally the way you used to. So why is it that you can't take up the oxygen? The reason is because the blood is deranged. The blood have a lot of toxins in it. Toxins coming from food you eat. The blood has lots of insulin. It's called hyperinsulinemia. Why? Because you are used to processed food. So every time you are spiking your insulin level, and when you spike your insulin level, you derange the blood viscosity, and you make the blood incapable of taking up the optimal amount of oxygen per time that your heart pumps. So you put your heart under pressure. We need to end that. That's why I don't support medication, because medication silences you, makes you not to do what you ought to do. But if you understand what I'm sharing with you, you know that if you can correct your blood viscosity, then you can be able to take up blood even with limited oxygen. I mean, limited oxygen as you breathe in. So you don't have to force your heart to work so hard. Now, I think I've overflogged it because you are running out of time. Now, we're going to introduce in these days what I call the herbal heart detox tea. And one of them, which is the indispensable combo that I make, is hibiscus. Hibiscus is the same thing you know as zobo leaves. But now we're not only looking for the hibiscus leaves, we're also going to get the petals and the stems. So when you go to market, please fetch hibiscus whole, including the leaves, the petals, and the stem. So when we boil them, we're going to boil them with ginger, with garlic, and we're going to add some moringa and cinnamon to it. This is an indispensable combo that she must start using starting today or tomorrow as you make these things available. What is it going to do? It's going to improve her blood pressure, it's going to improve her circulation, and it's going to clean her arteries. Do you understand? I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, doctor.
All right.
Yes, doctor.
All right. Now, it's very clear. I will still send you, like I promised, a detailed healing plan. I've sent you some, but I will see elucidate. So it's good you understand so you can be able to ask questions. Now, in our dietary transition, to be able to restore mommy back to health, we're going to eliminate all processed carbohydrates. You can take it down. We're going to eliminate dairy, except fermented dairy. We're going to eliminate refined oil. I call it the seed oil, both the granite oil, the canola oil, all the vegetable seed oil. We're going to get rid of them from our food. And we're going to get rid of these things I'm telling you are paramount. If you don't do them, then we are not willing again to heal. Maybe we want to continue to, manage her with medication, but I'm not interested in managing people with medication. I'm interested in healing. So we're going to cut out all the sugary foods and we're going to cut out table salt, especially when you take it in excess. And you know what I say, I call table salt. So you can use one of three salts. You can take pink Himalayan salt, or you can use Baja Gold salt, or you can use Celtic sea salt. If you reside in Enugu State, you can get local salt from Mbwemene in Ogbete. You can get local salt. It's very cheap. I think it should be even cheaper and the white salt. So our problem is not money here. Our problem is to use the right thing. So what we're going to focus on, we're going to focus on leafy greens for her. Now, when I talk about leafy greens, I know that now she might be used to eating bread, eating rice, eating yam, eating gari, and what have you. But now we're going to switch those things and focus more on vegetables. Even the swallow, for me, my first line recommendation is the fermented cabbage fufu. Now, some people use garden egg fufu, but I use it and use oat powder or phylum husk as a thickener. So that's what you are going to do for mama in the coming days. Please, you need a blender to make this possible. So you need to get a blender and you buy cabbage each time that she want to. Like for me, I prepare my own cabbage for the week long for 7 days. So I can make the cabbage and package it in little plates and put in the fridge. So anytime I want to take swallow, I just bring it out and warm it and warm my vegetable soup and eat. And I'm good to go. And that's the same thing I do because I eat only once in a day and I'm okay. I'm okay, not because I love starving or because I don't have money to buy food. I'm okay because I am eating the right thing. I try to source organic from local village women. Even from here in the UK, I go to village market. I don't want to buy my fresh deliveries. I don't want to buy them from the grocery. I want to go to the village where the village farmers bring food, or I go to village farm near me where I live here in Dartford area. So, Mama, we are going to buy lots of leafy greens: ogo, spinach, bitter leaf, moringa, scent leaf, kale, if it's available. And these are the things that we're going to be using to make her soup. So you can make her soup in a day. She can take these vegetables with beef liver as pepper soup, or she can take it with cabbage fufu or garden egg fufu, which you use your blender, grind it, strain it, put in the pot. As you are turning it, you add the powdered oats to thicken it and make it form for her to eat. Okay. Now she's going to eat clean protein. Listen, when I say clean protein, I'm not talking about chicken because chicken is not a clean protein. A lot of people have bedeviled red meat and they say that red meat has a cholesterol. Therefore, they now resort to eating chicken. Do you know that I don't have time to stress so strongly on chicken, but I want you to understand that chicken is one of the highest genetically modified protein that people eat. Because anything that will make a chicken that God designed to stay for 1 year to maturity And now we're having chicken that are brought to the market after 6 weeks because they use lots of antibiotics, because they use lots of hormones to blow these things, and they feed these things grains. And most of these grains are having what I call linoleic acid. Now, the linoleic acid is the same way like you have the so-called vegetable oils. Why are we running away from vegetable oils? It's because of the same linoleic acid. What we need ideally are not omega-6. What we need is omega-3, and you get it from clean protein. So I prefer beef more than chicken because most of the beef are grass-fed. They go into the bush and they eat grass. And it's that grass that ferments and gives them the nutrients that they have inside of them. Whereas most of our chicken, except you can lay your hands on local chicken that graze naturally, go inside. You see, even the chicken that we call local chicken, when you allow them, they are looking for ants to feed on. They're looking for earthworm. They're looking for termites and things to feed on. They are not feeding on grains as much. Of course, they can feed on grains, but their diet is not restricted only to grains. But this so-called chicken that we are eating today, do you know that some of them did not even see the soil any for once in their entire life for that 6 weeks? None of them was put on the soil. They were all in the cage eating grains. So these things will produce toxins inside of you, and it will produce even cancer, inflammation inside of us if we continue to eat the so-called 6 weeks raised chicken that is very popular now in the market. So that's the reason why I encourage you to run away from that and focus more on especially deep sea caught fish. You know, our people also have fish farmers that do the same thing they do to chicken. And those fish don't even see nature. That's why I said most of our challenges come from our attachment to unnatural things, from our running away from nature. So some of those fish and chicken, they don't see their natural environment. For once, that water that your fish farmer is using to produce fish is not having the wide array of nutrients. It's a water that they introduce. They even try to clean it, remove the minerals and things that you help the fish inside, and only use grains to feed the fish. So when I was in Nigeria, I did integrative farming. That's why I started introducing um, uh, um, I started farming, what is it, maggots to feed my birds and feed my fish. So I use maggot because it's also a clean protein, because I understand the process of producing the maggot, and it's cheaper, but a lot of people don't have time to do that today. So they resort to using grain. And at the end of the day, people will eat such protein and come and complain that that meat is not good. But it's because of how that meat was harvested. If we are all Christians, as we claim, we read the Bible. In the olden days, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, how did they become rich? They were counted as wealthy based on the number of cattle, the number of sheep that they have, and the number of farm fields that they have, especially cattle. So what are they doing with those cattle? What are they doing with the cattle? The cattle are there to feed the masses. So nobody will come and tell me that beef is not good, that beef, red meat is dangerous. This is pseudoscience. These people don't understand that it's the cleanest protein that you can have. All right. So again, beans is a clean protein. Lentils, if you can find it, chickpeas, okwa, okwa, breadfruit, okpa. You understand me? But these things you have to prepare them yourself, because the most of the ones that you want to buy from the market, you don't trust how they made it. I try to be holistic and detailed if we really want healing to happen, so that you are sure that you have covered at least 70% of your due diligence. Because if you don't do that, if you rely only on what people are giving you, the medications you are buying from the market and what have you, you will be expecting healing, and maybe it will not come, because this food does not give us what we demand from them. So if you make adjustments as per what I'm sharing with you, there is nothing on this earth that will stop healing to coming. Healing is a natural thing. It's a program that has been written inside of us by God. So the only reason why healing is not coming is because we are not respecting the principles that I'm sharing with you. All right, now I also encourage healthy fats. Healthy fats. So if you can find avocado, you can have avocado every morning. Olive oil is a healthy fat. Coconut oil is a healthy fat. Pumpkin seed is, it also has healthy fat. In fact, this is part of what I make every day as my smoothie. Though because of time constraint, I make it once in a week and I put in the fridge so it serves me for the whole week. So I don't have to every day be jumping into the kitchen and looking for what to eat. But I understand that we have power instability in Nigeria, but it's up to you to think on how you can, manage and make this available to her at least 70% of the time so that we can restore her back to health and get her to hit at least 100 years of age. It's very easy and very possible if we make adjustments. So I'm telling you, the next 25 years is possible. She will live healthier than she has lived all her life with all these medications if we can make adjustments. So we're going to introduce lots of these vegetables, lots of this, because we are looking at a high fiber diet, because fiber will help in detoxing the body. So there we are going to give her, in snacking, you're going to give her lots of garden egg, cucumber, flaxseed. She can also eat nuts, almond nuts, pistachio, walnut. But I'm very skeptical when it comes to granite because of aflatoxin. We don't want to continue to introduce into the body what will damage the body. So please, these are the things that she can have. As a matter of fact, me personally, I add my flaxseed and chia seed in my smoothie when I want to maybe take something like a smoothie in the morning. I take flaxseed and chia seed ground and add to my smoothie. And my smoothie is mostly a fermented milk. Thereby, I use kefir or yogurt, but I ferment it myself with my own special organism. So I'm not saying you are going to be able to do that because of maybe availability of what you need to use to do that and unstable power supply, So, but you can intermittently do it in these days, maybe 2 times in a week. You can add flaxseed and chia seed that are milled into her smoothie. So, like I told you, she's going to have only one main meal. I call it OMAD, one meal a day. All right. So the base of that meal will be steamed vegetables or soup. I've told you the vegetables, the ugu, the spinach, the bitter leaf. It's up to you to now know which one to use at any point in time. I've talked to you about the protein, grilled fish or beans or lentils or um okwa. You know that. All right. I've told you about the avocado, a small handful of pumpkin seed, walnuts, pistachio nut, almond nuts. Okay. And I've also told you about adding fermented drinks into her food like kefir, like yogurt. All right. But please do not buy sweetened yogurt. If you're buying yogurt, please make sure it is plain yogurt. All right. Don't buy sweet yogurt because all those flavors and sweeteners and colors that are added to it will also damage the gut microbiome. We want to heal, so we don't want to continue adding to the body what will derange the healing process. All right. We are so much fast spent to have very short time. Now, I'm going to introduce some supportive supplements based on the clinical signs that you have described, the symptoms that you have brought further. So, but we're going to source these things naturally. And one of them is coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is, we're going to use that to strengthen her heart muscle. We're going to introduce magnesium and potassium supplement, magnesium glycinate. This will help to relax our arteries and reduce the blood pressure further. And we're going to also add B complex and omega-3 oils. The idea is to use this to restore her brain and her nerve function. You're already complaining that she's having signs of stroke and showing signs of nerve damage. So these things will help to reclaim her nerve health. Okay, so we're also going to add some chlorophyll. Whether we buy chlorella ground one, it looks like or maybe we can use spirulina, or we can use yeah, chlorella, spirulina, or moringa, any of them, or we can use a combination of them, you know, to support her. Now, the next phase will be phase 2, where we're going to start after 20 days to introduce this thing. Our goal will be to restore her blood flow to the brain, especially to repair her nerves, to support her head tissue. And these things, the things we're going to do daily will be, in the morning, she's going to practice deep breathing. She can manage to sit up in bed. If she can't sit up, you can support her with a pillow just to elevate her, put her in a sitting position so that she can breathe deeply, you know. But now, when I talk about breathing deeply, you must also have to search, because most of our elderly people, will leave them in a very bad state. So you must have to look inside that her room and make sure that her pillow is properly washed and that her pillow is not smelling. As a matter of fact, I make it a law for anybody who intends to heal. Make sure that you clean your pillow once in 2 weeks, or possibly whenever the sun comes out, once in a week. Take it under the sun and leave it there for at least 2 to 3 hours, because I've had cases of people who supposed to heal, but because of infestation, because of mucor, because of molds in the room where they live, it is stopping that healing from happening. So we're going to put an end to it. So please, in as much as you're going to get her to practice deep breathing for 15 to 20 minutes in the morning, please make sure you improve oxygen flow in that room. Make sure the windows are open. If it is cold, cover her properly, but allow the window to be open for cross ventilation. And make sure her beddings, her bed sheet is changed, washed, and clean. Do you understand? I hope it's not, I
Yes.
hope it's not too much, but these are the things that we need to do if we really want to heal. Okay, so for her face, from your complaint, she will need face physiotherapy. So you need to massage her face, and you need to get her to smile daily. You need to get her to roll her tongue, and you can do that with supporting her with a warm towel compress when you are massaging her face. Massaging is a way of bringing blood circulation, and blood circulation brings life. Whenever blood travels to anywhere, it takes life with it. It takes oxygen with it. It takes minerals with it. Okay, so if you want to begin to help the nerves, you need to massage so that you can increase circulation within that area. So you can use warm cloth to massage her face, as regular as time will permit you. All right, again, we'll talk about walking or chair-based movement. I know that you described that she's obese, but she must have to find a way at least for motion. If she can't get motion, please make sure that you move her in bed 2 times minimum in a day to stop her from having because when you lie on a place for a long time, you can have bed sores. So you need to stop her from having bed sores by moving her in bed.
She's not immobile. She moves around.
Okay, beautiful. So we have to even encourage that moving around. We have to encourage it by supporting her to move around. If you have a garden or any area where you live, where she can walk to, spend some time in that natural serene place where you have trees or something, so she can, move around, go there and get back to the house with support. Somebody must have to assist her to do that. It doesn't matter the time. Whenever you have time to do that, just take her for a walk and then back again. This will help us to stop blood pooling and to stop insulin resistance, because the more you move, the more you increase metabolism. Okay, so now the healing juice she's going to be having in the next starting from that 20 days time I've said it's going to be beetroot, carrot, ginger, cucumber, and scent leaf. So we're going to make this in form of a juice. And listen, when I make juices, I don't lose anything. So even when you make juices for her, the bulk of the juice, maybe after processing the juice, you have the bulk, the chaff. I don't throw it away. I use it and use powdered oats to turn it into fufu for swallow. That's why sometimes you see me swallow something that is red or something that is green. You understand me? Sometimes I encourage people to swallow your vegetables. You can't eat them. Swallow them. It's still good. So you make juice for her. It will support her, improve her circulation, cleanse her blood, boost her energy, but also use the bulk of that juice. Don't throw it away. Use it to prepare her fufu and keep in the fridge. So whenever she wants to eat, she can eat from that. Okay. Now the key herbs that we are going to use for her. Number one is the hawthorn berry. Hawthorn berry is one of the primary, most important herbs that strengthens the heart. Okay. And we're also going to use turmeric and black pepper. This is an anti-inflammatory that will help to improve both the brain and the vessels. So we're also going to use moringa. I've talked about moringa when I mentioned chlorella and spirulina, but I know that what is most popular there in Nigeria is moringa. But here we have spirulina and chlorella. I even have mine, in my medicine cabinet. So that's what we are going to use. All right. So I think when we are done with this, we have been able to establish healing. Okay, we have been able to establish healing. So do you have any question? And there's something that I failed to remind you, and that is we are going to need to get rid of the residues of medication that she has had for the past years. The more medication you have, the more you have these things, their residues accumulating in the body, causing auto intoxication in the body, causing inflammation in the body. So how we're going to get rid of these things is by using what I call activated charcoal. So how often does she use the toilet?
As often as possible. She don't have lose tummy. Anything she eats.
Okay, okay, okay. If she goes to toilet normally, she has a normal metabolic this thing. It's okay, very good. So we just need to support to make sure that we get rid of the residues of medication. So we're going to use activated charcoal, or we're going to use bentonite clay. Activated charcoal or bentonite clay. They can do the work very well. Okay, you have it. Okay, so please, we're going to use that once in a day, starting today. All right, so that we can, clean her, stabilize her mood, heal everything, and reprogram her and get her ready, to jump back to her feet again. Because I know that if you do that, it will even reduce the burden on you when she's healed. Okay. Now, I talk about sunlight therapy. In fact, for some people that can't get sunlight, like here in the UK during winter, sometimes you don't see the sun. Then we now begin to use red light therapy, which I have my own red light therapy capsule. So, but what I do is you find a way to take mommy to enjoy the sunlight. It's not easy, I know, because of time constraints, but just find a way, even if it's 2 or 3 times in a week. Okay, because we need to bring balance to the body. And that sunlight therapy, 30 minutes under the sun, will go a long way in helping her. So, do you have any questions?
Yes, doctor. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
The question is this: as she's in all this therapy that you just said now, is she going to be taking her medication, or are we going to go off medication?
Now, you're going to send me the list of all the medications that she's taking.
Okay.
Now, when you send me the list of all the medications, I will tell you what each and every medication is meant for and whether we will need it and how far we will need it. Like if she's on anti-cholesterol medication, we can stop it starting today. She doesn't need it.
Okay.
But if she's
No,
on
no, no, no.
amlodipine or she's on
Yeah,
glucophage, just let me know all the medications she's taking, metformin and what have you, and I'll be able to
yeah,
tell you what she need to be taking. Okay, as she continues, because the reason why she's maintaining those medication and causing even more harm to her body is because she has not made the adjustment that is necessary for healing to happen. So when she makes that adjustment, you will find that she won't need most of the medications. And I can assure you, in the coming days and months, she will begin to get rid of the medications. All right. I don't believe that somebody is healthy when the person is on medication. It's only when you can say, yes, my blood pressure is good, my sugar level is good, and you are not on medication. That's when you can say you are healthy. Let us not be deceived, okay, by trusting our life on medication and thinking that we are healthy. We might be building damage that we cannot, get away from. So please let me know a list of all the medications she's taking, and we're going to be able to say, okay, continue taking this one while you watch her. All right. Does she have a blood pressure machine at home?
yeah, we don't have.
All right. So that
Yeah,
will enable us
we
to
have.
check intermittently so that we can be able to make correction. But once we make switch in the diet, you will notice that her blood pressure will be coming to normal. When I say normal, I'm not saying it will go to 120. A lot of people
Yeah,
think that once your blood pressure is more than 120, that you are sick. No, is wrong. The truth is that as you age, your blood pressure is supposed to be going up as you age. All right. But there should be a markup depending on your age and your lifestyle and your disposition. So she can have a blood pressure of 140, and I will tell you that is healthy because she's 75 years of age. She's not a baby. Okay. So blood pressure of 120 is kept for people that are much younger. All right. Um, do you have any other question?
mm, no, no,
All right.
for
So
now.
please, if you have any question generally, you can drop. You have already have my. I think you are in our group on WhatsApp, on Dr. Kakaka group on WhatsApp.
I'm here.
So you can drop your question there, and we'll clarify. Going forward. So I've sent you also the link to access our consultancy. It's only £24. So you just check the link again, and
Okay,
uh, it's very clear. Everything I try to be very clear in what I explain, so you won't have confusion as you do. And as you also try to help Mama, also help yourself, because we all deserve to be healthy. And
yeah,
for any adjustment you make, you can improve your own health. It doesn't matter. I know I'm not saying anybody is sick, but you make adjustment. You don't wait until you become sick before you do the right thing to keep your health. Okay. All right.
yeah,
All right. So let's do it. If you have any difficulty in accessing any of the supplements I talked about, we can source the supplements from here in the UK and send you. Luckily for me, I have somebody that will be traveling by month end. Okay. So if you check and you can't access the supplement, and I also make it necessary, an announcement to make sure you are sourcing supplements from the right source, because you know what is happening in Nigeria. I'm not trying to be devil. I'm not saying people are evil generally, but we just have to be careful, because when we are looking for health and somebody is selling you chalk, you are looking for health, you are buying supplement, but you don't know somebody package chalk for you. Somebody's interested in making money than giving you health. It's happening. So that's why we just need to be careful on where we source supplements. If you have any reliable pharmacists, please make do to deal with them so they will give you the right thing. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you
Thank you
very
very much.
much again. Like I said, if you have any further question, you are there on the group. You can ask questions and get clarifications. Thank you. And say me well to Mama.
No,
I pray that as she
okay.
proceed in this transformational lifestyle, her trajectory of health will
She's there with
change.
us.
I pray that healing
She, She's there. She's listening.
All right, Mama, I pray that healing will become your daily bread in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. All right. Bye. Mm. All right. So now to my entire community, thank you again. It's been a long while that I've not come on to share with you, to discuss with you. But I can tell you that I will be in Estonia in 5 days' time, and I will have 4 long days of daily sharing with you. So all the things that you think you may have lost for me not being online, you will gain all of them in that 4 days when I will take my holiday in Estonia. It's a holiday, but I'm going to devote at least 1 hour to you every day in that holiday so that I can be able to cover a lot of things. A lot of things have happened for the past 1 month that I've not shared with you, but I'm going to help you to recover all. Thank you again for coming live with me in this session. Have a wonderful day.